sound still brings...
Just something that you, as you say, you never get sick of.
Absolutely. These two aeroplanes are a little bit similar in a lot of ways, but diametrically opposed in a lot of ways too. You have a radial engined aeroplane with about 200 horse less than the Merlin. I just keep thinking there should be two. And have a listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. And only here at Temora.
That says it all.
We had the Wirraway at the time, and it wasn't sort of doing what we needed it to do as a fighter, so the next step was to build a single seat version.
Well, basically, as Tom Moon used to say, a Wirraway would be great with 1200 horsepower, and that's what we have up there.
Exactly, and you can see the similarity. You can see if you look when you get close up to it, the centre section of the wing is Wirraway, the tail is Wirraway.
That sound is very unique to the boomerang. It's a noise. Some people said that they used to call it the whistling death, but I think that's more of a made-up, more of a made-up thing after the war. But
whistling death was whispering death.
Now this is basically because of the air coming over the open gun ports in the outer wing.
Yep. It's a bit like a blue note on a medium. We have never tried it, but I suspect the Spit may make a similar...
The useful part was the wings. And that was only useful for scrap, so... the
finest. This aeroplane was designed by Reginald Mitchell to be the definitive fighter that he could design. And this aeroplane has a fantastic wing, a very efficient fuselage, and for today, a very, very competent pilot, Guy Burke.
Look at that elliptical wing, ladies and gentlemen. That is the hallmark, the major recognition mark of all of the Spitfires up until very late when they got the laminar flow wing.
The various models of Spitfire, right from the prototype, which its all-up weight was basically less than the dry weight of the final variation of the aeroplane. The particular version that you're looking at here, the Mark 16 with the American Packard engine, was pretty much the one that everybody looked to fly and own, because it was basically the one that had the most horsepower with the lightest airframe. After this particular version, the aeroplane got a lot heavier, the engines got bigger, and it was a better aeroplane to fight with, but not such a nice aeroplane to fly.
We mentioned that this aircraft actually flew with number 453 Squadron RAAF as part of the 2nd Tactical Air Force in Europe. And we've been very, very fortunate to have a pilot by the name of Russell Leith, who was a flight leader, and he was handed the keys of this brand new Spitfire in Normandy at the ripe old age of 20, and he lives over in Perth now. He was the first pilot of this aircraft and flew it regularly in these markings.
Very toxic chemicals, and once the engines were calmed down, they're pretty much stuck on this V configuration. A V12 is unique, it has no what's called second harmonic, so it's a very well balanced engine. The narrow V for the V engine gives you a very streamlined cowling, so you can make it very aerodynamic. It was liquid cooled, so it was pretty much carefree for the guy sitting behind the engine. He didn't really have to worry about the coolant system because it was automatic and it pretty much took care of itself. This became a bit of an issue though in places like Asia and in the upper sections of Europe around Italy, where the summers were fairly hot, and unfortunately the airplane is being designed for the colder climes of Europe and the parts of England where it served. The cooling system was one thing that they fought with on the airplane for a lot of its life, because it was pretty marginal, and once you fired it up on the ground there was no cooling airflow until you got the airplane moving.
When the airfield's new runway here was dedicated, we had a number of the pilots from 453 Squadron over, and Russell described how he was flying this particular machine one day, and they were fitted with bombs. They were going in to try and get some V1 sites on the continent, and flying very, very low in formation, and a V2 rocket took off right in front of them. So that's what they were trying to chase at the time, the V1s and the V2s. And it was very interesting to hear the difference in tactics that were operated in Europe and the Pacific. Now, Wells just picked up a little board here, which we'd like to make mention of. The Temora Aviation Museum has actually produced a video, DVD, and it comes so well.
Yes, we can. Guys can actually go and have a look inside the Connie, the airplane that made intercontinental travel realistic for a lot of people, and I think it's a gold coin donation. So please go and do that and have a good look at the airplane. And they're due to shut that probably in about an hour's time to display it for you. Now you have a look at Guy bringing the airplane in. He's now got 10 odd foot of aluminium engine and various other things sitting out in front of him. So he pretty much can't see out the front, so he's looking pretty much up both sides of it, and he's made a decision to put it down all 3 points at once, and as you can see it works beautifully on the runway. Now you might notice the airplane skip a couple of times. The grass out there isn't actually that flat, so there are little bumps and everything that can bounce the airplane around a little bit, but that's 3. So there are a number of little markers that will show you which model of Spitfire it might be. That's a classic example there. You can see underneath the boxes under the wings, the flaps at the back are both open, trying to get as much air through the boxes as possible. One side has the water radiators and the other side has the oil coolers, plus the cooling system that's used for the induction system on the engine.
As you said, well, it doesn't get much better than that.